everybody. I got a treat for you today. The co-CEO, co-founder of ScaleStack.ai, Elio Narciso, straight from Italy, but now in New York. How you
Yes.
doing? How you doing, paisano?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, born and raised in Italy, in Puglia, and then moved here now 18 years ago to do my MBA, and then I stayed. So yeah, thank you for having me. And
Well,
yes, I'm the co-founder and CEO of ScaleStack, which we started about 4 years ago now.
and tell me a little bit about your journey, how you built this company. What did you do before this, and why ScaleStack now?
Just before starting ScaleStack, I spent almost 5 years at AWS here in New York, and I had a great time. I built a global program to support the go-to-market of partners built on AWS that wanted more support from AWS in their go-to-market. And by doing that, this was a global program. It still exists, actually. So it's my legacy there. We realized that even large companies like AWS or well-funded, mid to late stage startups struggle dearly with all of their go-to-market motions, particularly around data. And so I saw at AWS hundreds or thousands of reps not trusting the CRM at AWS because the data was poor and bad, managing prioritization of accounts on spreadsheets or marketing teams being like kind of lost in translation when having to prioritize leads and score them and all of that. And so this idea got formed about 4 years ago that actually larger companies need a lot of help to orchestrate, unify, and then clean, enrich, prioritize a lot of data before they activate that data for people like in sales and marketing. And so that's how the idea of the company was born. And so we are a middleware layer in between the data layer and the activation layer that has evolved over the past few years to be like a system of intelligence that lays on top of the system of record so that sales, marketing, humans, and agents can have great data they can rely on and use to prioritize all of their efforts.
Did you get a chance to work with Jeff Bezos?
Jeff,
Bezos?
Jeff Bezos, it's a funny story because you know that he acquired the Washington Post. And so I have never met him as part of the Amazon side, but the Washington Post started a tech company when after Jeff bought the Washington Post called Arc, and they built, I don't know how they're doing now, but they built a technology platform, and so they were partners in my global program. And so as part of that, in one occasion, he was leaving the meeting room that we were gonna use, and so we crossed paths, but just said hi, and he was escorted by bodyguards and stuff. So it was very brief, but it was funny that I met him in DC as part of his involvement with the Washington Post. By the
Oh,
time I was there, I was there between 2018 and 2022. Um, I mean, AWS CEO and founder, basically, and Andy Jassy
mhm.
was still there as the CEO of AWS, and now he's the CEO of Amazon. And he is very important, of course, and he was even then. And AWS was very independent of Jeff Bezos already then. And so Andy Jassy was really the core founder and CEO that, we met and discussed stuff with.
What's the biggest life lesson as far as, hey, I'm glad I did this, but I didn't win it. I lost, but I learned. Or you won something by either strategy or tech. You're like, I'm gonna repeat that. I want other people to know about it.
You mean something that I've learned while doing sales primarily, or?
Yeah, in business, yes. But in the last couple of years, that's a really good learning from you won or you lost.
I think speed disproportionately matters
Okay.
in business and more so.
Mhm.
And so I think that at AWS, I mean, I've done other stuff before AWS, including starting other companies. But it was at AWS, Amazon that I really learned that like if you don't inject speed, even as the company grows, then things quickly atrophy and become like dormant, and then like the next thing you know is that your competitor is like much faster than you,
Yeah.
um, and you've lost. And I mean, AWS was king of the game for like a good 10 years, and then like AI flew by them, even though they were doing like AI and ML investments for like a decade plus. And so I think that that's the biggest lesson, and we are trying to apply this at ScaleStack as much as we can. Speed disproportionately matter, like the way like we develop, improve, and move fast to support and service customers is very important. And I think it disproportionately matters, and especially now in the world of AI. I mean, the speed at which this is going, it's crazy. I mean, like things that we're doing now 6 months ago were like, not even ideas. And that's pretty remarkable. So I think that that's the learning. I mean, there are like broad like examples like, AWS missing the boat in some way, like on AI and having to play catch up. Um, but I mean, yeah, I think that that's the biggest thing that I've learned over time. Speed really matters.
And what's your how would you describe your company and what you do? I know you before we started the podcast, you're talking about a little bit of clay and you're the clay mixed with this, mixed with that. So dumb it down for my audience.
So I think it's I mean if you want like the easy shortcut, since everybody knows clay, like we are like an infrastructural clay for like larger go-to-market motion. What that means is that we're really like again tech infrastructure, a middleware layer, invisible to like most people in the companies that we serve to, because we typically work with rev ops, sales ops, marketing ops, sometimes CIO office to deploy this infrastructural layer that sits in between the data that these companies buy. You think about like ZoomInfo, Apollo, or Lucia, or any of this type of data, and the activation layer. So how you're going to use the data, so which is typically the layer that, say, a rep would see, which is like the CRM or a Salesloft or an outreach or now Glean, Gong, etc., etc. And so we are in between those. And in between, a very important job needs to happen, which has become very strategic in the age of AI, which is your data needs to be AI ready. And so it needs to be clean, needs to be constantly updated, enrich, prioritize at large scale, the scale of our customers. And so that's why like the shortcut is like we are an infrastructural clay. Some of our customers use both clay and scale stack. Clay is more as an individual productivity tool, scale stack to create at the system level, at the org level, the clarity and intelligence that you need to inject in your system.
What events are you going to in the next 12 months where people can meet up with you in person?
I just went to Saster a
Yeah,
couple
me
of
too. Great.
weeks ago. I think it was very good. So I'm definitely gonna go back to their events and maybe next time even sponsor. It was funny because I didn't know, but like by filling the form, to pay the ticket, we were also applying to like see if Gemini from Google would select us to go on stage and present SkillStack. And we got lucky that Gemini, so an agent that they Google built, decided that SkillStack was one of the most interesting
No,
companies.
now I remember you there talking on stage because
Yes,
there's something that was like deja vu. Now I remember. You were at the one right closest to the door, right?
yes, yes. And
Yeah, sorry
so we
for you.
presented that. It was super fun. But also I saw a lot of people, customers and prospects. So yeah, Saster is definitely going to be there. I tend to do a lot of conferences here in New York. There is a ton of stuff around AI.
Yeah.
We presented at an AI agent conference about a month ago. We do a lot of our own events. We have this brand sort of like parallel to SkillStack, which is called the Revenue Engine Masters, which is the name of my podcast, but also the name of the events that we run. Tomorrow we have a dinner here in New York for RevOps. So we do a lot of our events. I think
Yeah.
it's a great way
Yeah.
to meet people. I mean, I'm Italian, so like breaking bread is very important to me. So
Breaking
yeah,
Bad was a good show too.
Breaking Bad was also a very good show, man.
Yeah.
Yes, I've watched that probably 4 times, end
I
to end.
watched it twice at least because of COVID, and yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely great to meet you, and I think we're gonna run into each other, two paisanos, uh, and then, obviously in New York we say forget about it as part of the Italian culture too. But uh, but yeah,
And where are you from originally in
Chicago,
the Chicago?
Chicago, and then my family's from Benevento, which is above Naples.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm half Italian, then I'm like Ukrainian and Irish and French, so I'm only half Italian.
Okay, very good, very good. So do you go back to Italy or
I've
sometimes
not
or?
been there yet. I want to go to Amalfi
Oh
Coast.
wow. Okay. No, you definitely have to go. I go every summer for sure. And then like we have a couple of investors there. The tech system and ecosystem in Italy is getting better, and so I do go there for work also, like maybe once or twice a year.
So, what's the best way for someone to reach out to spend some time with your company, with either you or your sales team?
Well, I think our website skillstack.ai, you can play with the platform, you can book a meeting. I still take a lot of first calls.
Uh-huh.
So like, maybe if they book on the website, they will find me along with others. And then I'm very open. I love talking. I mean, this is how I see my role. I'm the CEO of the company and co-founder, but I see my role as like, the face of the company and also like a very
Evangelist.
access a very
Evangelist.
accessible
Yeah.
person. So it's not easy to find me and book time with me because that's what I see my job is to explain the vision and to explain also the market. The market, I mean, you asked me about like, differences with Clay and other tools. And, as I shared, off the recording, what we see is the more we explain with clarity where we fit in the ecosystem, which is a very complex ecosystem. There is data, there is tools, there is individual productivity stuff, there is platforms, there is data lakes. The more we inject that clarity from our perspective that we have learned by working with customers, that's how we sell. We're not selling by telling people that SkillStack is, the best thing since I
So
don't know,
what's your
sliced bread.
what's your email address so people can email you?
It's very easy. Elio, Elio at scalestack.ai.
Well, thanks for your time, my friend.
Thank
Paisano.
you, Michael.
Talk
Very,
to you soon.
very nice to meet you. Ciao.